So when I think of the city of Cedar Rapids, I kind of think of a donut. Because even though Cedar Rapids is a great city that's clean and family friendly, we're very suburban, and we don't have a lot of opportunities in the center or the downtown of Cedar Rapids. And so our vision for the future of Cedar Rapids is to really liven up the downtown and use a lot of the areas that we're not using to their full potential. And this way we would build a greater community and bring people together from both sides of the river. One way we would do this is to bring more shopping options and more business to Cedar Rapids, especially the downtown area. I used to live in Pittsburgh, and the options for shopping were pretty much limitless. And right now, most people have to go either to Lindale or to Coral Ridge, and so bringing more options and new stores, especially to our side of town, would be beneficial for business and also students as well. We also talked about having more events downtown and utilizing areas like the amphitheater. We talked about having an all-school dance to integrate people from different schools and also just bring people together in the community.
So the main point of this was to bring the two sides of the river together to make a better community, and that we can't really do that without having the downtown liven up, because people don't want to travel across town for events. And if it's centralized, it would be much easier and less time in a central place for the two communities. And one of the things that we talked about was having all the high schools having a giant dance, and so it wouldn't just be individual high schools, it would just be a school dance for all of the Cedar Rapids schools. And then also having more activities adding a community building and having just a level for teens, and having teen activities and a safe place for teens to go and hang out.
All right, that's all we had. Thank you.
On your map, you really got some cool stuff there. Just give them a second.
Something we had talked about a little bit earlier with the waterfront was to have a river walk, and this would be similar to the idea down in San Antonio, where we would have a boat offered as well, and just different shops along the river, which would really utilize that space that we have.
Alright, we also have some really good city parks with a lot of green sprays, like Ellis and Jones and Norwich, and we talked about having events there, or having better playgrounds and have playground hops where parents can bring their kids and get on a bus, and you can just take a tour kind of all the different playgrounds and just play there. And then, because during the summer there's not a lot of stuff to do, and then also having more events for teens, like snowball fights at the parks during the winter, or water gun fights in the summer for teens, because there's a lot of stuff for us to do during the summer here.
In addition to a lot of the big name stores like we talked about earlier, we also talked about having little mom and pop shops that are places like Zoe's Pizza and Super Salad and other stores that are really localized and unique compared to chains across the nation.
Okay, so we had an idea for a sports complex on the southwest side because there's a lot more room extending out that way. There'll be football fields, soccer fields, baseball and softball, as well as tennis courts, volleyball courts, a pool, and then concessions all around. And it'll be completely surrounded by a track. It'll probably be about 2 or 3 miles long. And then down at the front we'll have the administrative building. You get tickets so you can go to any of the different activities, as well as the weight room and locker rooms in the next building.
Down here would be small stores and then a stage for music and stuff like that. So yeah.
And me and Josiah had this idea for a really big food court, and we'll have a big park in the middle with an ice rink in the middle, right in the middle. And we would there will be a taco stand in the middle with benches around it, so you can sit down and eat tacos, sit with the pizza down here. And there will be large restaurants and wood shops right on the sides. And with we encourage like different like ethnic foods like Chinese and Mexican and different, so you know you can try different foods. Yeah, and it's like ponds and stuff like that.
All right, so we designed kind of a skate park, just like ideas for what we would want to see in a skate park, like things that we don't have already. And then we also incorporated like other parks into it, like maybe a go-kart track and maybe mini golf. And it'd be nice to have these all near each other, so it's not spread out all over the city. And there's like one area that you can go and do everything that you want to do. And I mean, like these were just some ideas, and maybe have like food, like a food court kind of area somewhere in there, and like a place for kids to skate, so it's a little bit safer for them too. And that's pretty much all we had.
I'd like to see that go. Like in a park or near downtown or?
Anywhere that there's space, really.
Yeah, pretty much. That's so great that you will get to that wherever it is.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Big round of applause. All right.
Have you ever wanted to go somewhere to do your sports or work out, but everywhere's just full? Well, now you don't have to worry about that ever again with the new CR Recplex. With a wide selection of sports from swimming to football, you'll never run out of things to do. After a long, hard workout in our weight room, you could go steam off in the sauna, and on your way out, take a protein smoothie from Nutri-Smoothie.
Okay, so the first floor is basically a bunch of activities. Here you hold them. So you're starting out, here's your entrance, and there's a daycare for kids, because that's typically how you do it in a gym, so you can drop your kid off and work and stuff. There'd be seating area, and there'd be a little eatery right here. You'd have your locker rooms in your pool, and your pool would be 50 meters so that you can hold sectionals and state events so that it can bring people into Cedar Rapids. Then you'd also have a little kiddie pool over here for little kids. You'd have your sauna in your locker room. Then the rock wall is going to go from the first floor to the second floor, kind of like a little opening. Then you have your bathroom and your exit there. And then this will be the basketball court, so there's going to be 8 there. And that's the first floor. Second floor.
Okay, the second floor, you have racquetball courts and volleyball courts, and then you have your swim seating, so like when you're watching a swim event. And then we have 2 indoor tennis courts, and then you have your like fitness rooms, like where yoga and stuff will take place, and then your big workout room and your bathrooms, and your rock wall will continue up to the second floors. And then outside, you're going to have 2 outdoor tennis courts, along with a track with a football and soccer field inside of it, and then 8 baseball and softball fields, and then obviously a very large parking lot.
Okay. This is Bill. I don't need that. This was Bill before the CR Redplex, and he was unhappy, sad, and sweaty, and a little big. And then this is him afterwards, and he's happy, and he's fit, and he's energized, and he has more hair, and the girls love the new Bill, and he is very thankful for the Redplex. You're welcome, Bill.
I'm bored. Isn't there anything to do here?
No, we live in Cedar Rapids.
Here, let me tell you about this new pet mall that just opened. They have activity centers that some day would have music, some days would have exhibits, and it'll give you something to do on an afternoon. They have boutiques full of clothes, shoes, jewelry, books, and anything else that you would like. Then after that, once you get hungry, we have vendor carts for food.
Get your hot dogs.
And sometimes on the weekends, they have people playing music.
Wow, awesome.
The end.
Great.
Our big idea was a rather large super mall. Each one of these lines here represents somewhere approximately a football field worth of space. You have the primary entrance right here, then there's basically a back door. You have an elevator at each one of these individual hallways, and there'd be stores all along the outside, here in the inside. Be a food court and a large, really big water fountain right here that goes all the way up from the first floor to the second floor. So it'd be basically a waterfall, not really much of a water fountain. And escalators that kind of go up and around the water fountain, which are surrounded by the food court. And up in the corner there, we have like an amphitheater where you can do, musical shows, concerts, theater performances, anything of the sorts. You can buy tickets for like $5, $10 or something like that. And off to the side, we got a daycare center for any employees here that would work at the mall that they can't afford to get a babysitter or anything like that. So you can just bring your kids over to the mall and they'll play at the daycare center. And then we get to the second floor.
Okay, so for the second floor, there would be like a really large, just because it's kind of like maybe more like this area, general area is more of a kid-oriented area, where there'd be like a big candy store similar to the Willy Wonka chocolate factory. In some of the stores, there would be like, say, a Kids Go or a Kids R Us, a Build-A-Bear Workshop or something else. Up here, there'd be a gym area because like another thing that you can see, people see in newer malls is that they have like an oriented area where you do different fitness things. Plus you can work off all the candy that you just ate. There's other stores in here, and then there's an escalator that comes up from the water fountain that goes all the way up to the second floor as promised. And then there's stores outlining everything else.
And then down to the basement, we have one activity. Paintball.
Yes.
The entire basement is dedicated to paintball.
Applause for all of you. Right before lunch comes in, we're going to do a quick little career panel up here for you so you understand a little bit about the world of planning from the folks who work in that area. But we'll do that in a minute. What I'd like to do now, you guys are so warmed up, this is not going to take you very long at all. I want you to spend 5 minutes at your table, and I want you to do Cedar Rapids in winter, big idea. You guys have been warmed up for this, we did it in your classes, okay? And we're just going to spend 5 minutes at your tables.
We're going to sing a song. Well, not sing, but we've got 3 main ideas for you. It goes bicycles, retail stores, and First Avenue. How many of you have bikes? Only a few? Well, we've got the perfect idea for you. How do you feel about a bike that you can rent? Down by the bike trail, it will be money well spent. With a docking station powered by the sun, these Rent a Bike provide a trip full of fun.
Our next idea involves the lack of retail stores in the downtown area, which makes it a bore. Teenagers and parents would enjoy walking around in a central location where everything can be found. From shops to food and entertainment too, this town needs something fresh and something new.
One more thing we'd like to improve are rundown businesses along First Avenue. The businesses should be rising and progressing, instead they're just flat out decreasing. Building new businesses along the street allows the Cedar Rapids economy that no one can beat. I hope you consider our proposal in making our town better, so it'll never be a bore, not now, not now.
idea of rent a bike, where you just go and you rent the bike for the day, however long you can just ride around and back. And that's to help revive city parks like Beaver Park and Ellis Park. And like Old McDonald's Farm used to be like a zoo and everyone used to go there, but now it's not anymore. And like concessions and tennis courts, like people would all play together. And parks are meant for the community to communicate, not like everyone to do separate things. And another idea was a zip line and like across Morden Creek or like lakes like Lake McBride or go across that. And that's an outdoor activity, it's an attraction to like people who just travel through Cedar Rapids. And it's enjoyable and it's something new to try.
And then our other idea was to focus on the downtown area of Cedar Rapids. And the idea was to relocate or add retail stores back to the downtown area. I guess like back then, like they used to have all the retail stores located in the downtown area, which kind of was vital for it to function. So the result of adding the stores would be downtown area thrives from public interest, meaning like either Cedar Rapids and Paramount gets like the consumers that they used to get. Because if you have all those people down there, they're gonna want stuff like that. And then the really important one was small business owners profit from more consumers visiting the area. So if you have like a small business that's just starting and they don't really have the money for advertising or a customer base, they have the people that are visiting there for retail stores also. And then the other part would be like a one-stop shop. So if you park your car in downtown area, you have that whole spot to get everything you need, which is what people want right now.
Okay, so our last idea is First Avenue, and like we were wanting to introduce new stores and restaurants, so like the younger generation of us could go down there and have fun. And that also allows for like self-modernizing, where people who are younger could go and fix up new shops or old shops, and it also enhances public experience, so you could go meet some new people down on First Avenue.
Big ideas that we really liked. So the first one is a music venue for like smaller bands, and like the closest one that I know of is in Iowa City, and that's like 45 minutes away. So like I don't know, it'd be fun.
All right, our next one is amusement parks, because we have to travel to Adventureland to go to an amusement park, and instead we should bring the money here.
Our next idea was like an aquarium type thing or a zoo, because we don't have anything like that like nearby.
And our last one was to build more malls or bring more shops, like from Coral Ridge down here.
Our big idea was we're going to do a Treehouse Campsite. So like not everyone has a camper to go camping, and not everyone likes staying in tents. So instead of bringing your camper, we have tree houses you can stay in, and then they differ in size, like depending on how many like beds you need.
Each tree house would be pre-furnished with beds, dressers, and tables and chairs. They would have a fire pit, a picnic table, and a water pump at the base of the tree. And there would be community bathrooms and showers, and then also each treehouse would come with a small porch so you could go outside of it, and then also central Wi-Fi, of course.
So each house would have bunk beds or the regular beds. The size of the house will vary depending on how much you want to pay for each house. Some houses will have more furnishings, like more beds, couches, tables, etc. And then we have rope bridges from house to house, and you can just walk across those, go to each house. And then each house would have power to it, so you can have like fans, radio, whatever you want to have.
And then for location, we did like near the river for like boating and fishing and etc. And then also courts and playgrounds nearby, and then nature trails as well. ahead.
What we wanted to do was bring more tourism to Iowa, especially Cedar Rapids, and people who like camping but don't necessarily want to bring campers, like she said before, can stay in a treehouse, and it's something new and fun for people to do. It's also a great way for families to get out into nature and just enjoy it.
Okay, so we had 3 different ideas. We had a Mount Trashmore idea, a pet mall idea, and the indoor skate park. And some ideas for Mount Trashmore, like during the summer, you could use it for like water slides or have a pool in there, or you can have just a regular park. And then for like winter use, you can do skiing or sledding. And like if they needed a lift, you can go up the lift. Another idea for during the summer would be a lookout over the mountain. Yeah.
I think it is. It's not.
Just die.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Thank you.
Okay. Our idea for the pet mall would be somewhere like the New Bow neighborhood or Czech Village. Just an open area for something. This is just an example of like different stores that we don't already have, like places that are only in Chicago or not close to Cedar Rapids, or things that like Tanker Outlet, something like that. And then like the one in Iowa City with the fountain to walk through for fun.
Can you read off those stores so everybody can hear?
Well, Forever 21, that's already at Coleridge, and H&M, and then Popeyes for food in the guest store, and any shoe store like Finish Line or something, and a Nike outlet and an UGG store, and fans, which, what is that?
It's a store.
A store. Okay.
Alright, another idea we had was indoor skate park. So people who like to skate and do all that in the winter, they could do it in the winter also. I said we could do like a small fee to get into it, so the city could pay it off also. And we could also maybe put it like where Super Skate used to be, because I know that closed down. And that was my idea for the indoor skate park.
Give them a round of applause.
Our big idea was the 319 Music Fest.
And it's called 319 because 3 stands for the 3 venues that it would be at, and then the 1 is like the tree or whatever, and it's a symbol for Cedar Rapids, and that just stands for one city, and then the 9 stands for the 9 different genres that would be at the music festival.
So it'd be during August 9th through the 16th, and we have different kind of foods, and we have local restaurant stands, cheeseburgers, hot dogs, french fries, Chinese food, and Mexican food.
So we would have it at Kingston, the amphitheater, and then at Brucemore. And then the 9 genres they would have would be like country and pop. We'd have a kids' night where we would have like bouncy houses and like face painting for the kids. And it wouldn't be free, that way like we could still pay everything off, but because nothing's free.
And where would this be?
Brucemore, the amphitheater, and Kingston.
Gotcha. All right, wonderful. Anything else? Big round of applause for these guys.